Okay, so what is up, party people in the place to be? As some of you may know, or many of you may not know, I do like to offer tutorials here on YouTube from time to time, and I just released my first reference pack, and I did it in Clip Studio Paint because here was the thing that was going on, right? A lot of my students are wanting to do comics, they want to do manga, and a lot of the other things, right? There is a lot of photo reference out there, and it is normally really good, different poses and all of this other stuff that looks cool and awesome. However, if you just read a comic or manga, or one of the biggest sticking points is you might have to draw something with a scene with some people in it, and that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff to juggle, right? So you got to pay attention to your anatomy, your proportion. You got to do perspective, and that's the thing that really kicks people in the teeth, right? So I'm just going to open up on it. This is from the pack, right? So if I open this up, then I wanted to make this reference pack, right? And so that's what I did. I made a reference pack, but I learned a few things in working in Clip Studio. Looking at this stuff in Clip Studio, I made these. These are my clip files to make this process a lot faster, and I'm going to show you guys how to make this process faster. Let me put on these. So you can see I already set these up in Clip Studio files. So if I ever need to go back and make a new set, I already have these there. I'm going to open one of these up. Let's open up the walking building file. And here's some really interesting observations that I made. So I put all these characters together because, okay, yes, can you do this in Clip Studio Paint by yourself? Of course you can. But I think that with a lot of people's workflow, with the workflow for Clip Studio, it's interesting because you're laying out your page and you're cutting your panels, and then you're bringing this stuff in. Like, okay, I need this crowd shot, so I'm gonna try and set this up on top of the panel work, and on top of the panels, on top of this, and you got this really big file. So I said, why not just make something that has a few different shots that you can just trace over if you want to, or you can use for reference. Use it however you want to use it, right? So here's a few interesting observations that I have made. We're gonna make a file like this, and I'm going to show you guys how to save it, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a much more efficient way, I think. And like I said, if you want to grab the pack below, please go ahead and do so. It's on Gumroad. It's 100 different reference images. But anyway, let me go ahead and pause this. Let's just get a new. So I'm going to go with a new, and this is good enough. So one of the first things that I want to do, you want to go into the download folder, right? And we got a lot. I have a lot of stuff in here that I converted from. I brought it in from Blender. These are OBJ files. These are from various sources all over. Since I do 3D as well, some stuff I made, not much, but so anyway. Let's take a look at, let me go right here, and let's just do a basic thing here. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go to the primitives. I want to set up a plane. So let's just set up a plane. You drag the plane in. Now, this plane is not, I'm going to turn the camera, and then what I'm going to do is I got to adjust this, right? So I'm going to go to the little box with the little wheel on the side, the little cog wheel, and I am going to lay it flat. I think one of the first things that I want to do is I'm just going to turn my divisions all the way up to 20 by 20, and I'm going to go and find the rotation. I wish that Clip Studio was a little bit a little bit more like Blender. Would make my life a lot easier. Actually, I'm just going to rotate this. So I'm going to double click on this. I'm just going to rotate it manually. And I'm going to turn this, and I have clipping on, and I think okay, so that should be flat. So I can check by rotating the camera. And it looks flat. Okay, so now this is flat. So what I want to do is I want to expand this. And then I'm going to zoom out. So that's one of the first things that I think is the most helpful for you to do is this. And we'll move this a little bit more into the center along the blue axis, but Blender is a little bit different from that if you're using Blender. So we have this already set up as a plane. That's one of the first things that you can do. Now, I think it is a good idea to make this file so that in the future you can, in the future, we'll go to body types. It doesn't make a difference. In the future, you can always have a crowd that you can move around and save this file. So I think I'm going to call this maybe making a crowd file, something. So this figure is relatively big, but let's go ahead and I am going to place it on the ground plane. Where is that at? There we go. Okay. So now this character is on the ground plane. This is going to be up to you. If you want to make a little bit larger of a crowd, well, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to put a male character and a female character, and I'm going to hit Shift. I think it'll let me do it. Shift. Clip Studio's gotten a lot better with that, and I'm just going to make these characters a little bit smaller so that we can have a bit more room. So now I have these two characters selected, right? So if you did that wrong, you're just going to select one of the characters, and then you're going to hit Shift. Might want to zoom in a little bit. Shift Select. And so they're going to turn like this pinkish color, perhaps. So what we are going to do is Control C and Control V, and then we are going to move these characters like this. Now, I'm going to see if I can select all four of them to speed this up. I'm going to hit Shift, Shift, then we're going to hit Control C and Control V. Let's see if it did it or not, because you can't tell sometimes with Clip Studio. It didn't. I don't know if it did it or not. Let's see. A lot of this is trial and error too, by the way. So what we want to do is possibly, let's see if I can move this one. Oh, okay, it did it. It copied, right? So let's copy this. So this is 8. So let's see if we can get 16 characters on the screen. So I hit Shift, Shift, Shift. 8 should be enough. So I'm going to go with, so I'm going to hover over here, Control C. Okay, I saw the little spinny wheel thing, then Control V. It might be too much. But let's see. Let's find out. There we go. So now this is the other part of it. We have a bunch of characters here. Equal number of male, equal number of female. So what we want to do is we want to save this file, right? So you want to save this as a Clip Studio file, and we will call this 16 peeps. I'm going to save this. Let me hit pause. Okay, so I have a file that says clip files. These are all of my 3D Clip Studio Paint files. So now what I want to do is I want to say, we'll call these base model 16, because it's 16 people. So I'm going to save this. And after I save this, now what I can do is I can move these around, or I can pose them any way that I want to. And so let's say that I want to take this character right here, and I want to, let's say that this character is talking to this character. Click over here, right there. This person's, and we're just there's no randomize, but as far as I know, if there's a randomize button, you guys let me know, so I can just randomly turn these characters or whatever. So maybe this is some kind of dinner party or something, and everybody's talking, and we'll just move this dude right. Whoops, we don't want to move him through the ground. He's not the vision. He's not vision. The this throws me off a little bit. The one thing I do like about Clip Studio, well, one of the many things that I like about Clip Studio, is that it has that little alignment tool that's built in. So let's zoom out here a little bit, and I'm gonna go over here, and I'll grab this character because people kind of stand in. I'm gonna double click to, if it gives you just like the movement thing, I just try and click. This is the other thing that more or less gets on my nerves a little bit. So we can see that this person is aligned, right? Because the green part is lining up. Okay, and I gotta move the camera around here a little bit. And what this is doing, it is also it's helping you obviously with the perspective. These characters aren't doing very much, and that's okay. Okay, and so let's do this. Let's have a little bit of fun here. let's also do so I we could you so now what you can do is you can just have this as a basic crowd, and you can save another version of this file, right? So then we can just say we can call this generic crowd. I'm going to save it. I keep hitting pause because I don't know if it's going to crash on me. So now I'm going to have generic crowd. Whoops. And I'll put the 16 because it's 16 people. So hit save. Now I don't know the poly count of these characters, right? I don't know the poly count at all. It's not, I guess it won't let me do. I keep thinking I'm working in Blender, right? Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so now I'm gonna let's see if we can crash Clip Studio. Control C to Control V. Now I'm giving you the specs on my computer. I have a 1080. It's an older card, but I do have what, an i9 with, I don't know how many gigabytes of RAM. I got like 64 gigs of RAM. It's an i9. I think I might have. Hold on. Let's see. No, it's not going to do it. It's not. It's okay. It didn't. It didn't do it. So let's see. Control C. So the point is, if you want to kind of speed this up a little bit. So let's see. Control C, and then did it do it? Okay. Control V. Here we go. It didn't do it. I don't know if it did or not. I don't think it's gonna do it. I think it's just too much. Oh no, it's it did something here. Okay. I don't know how many figures we have on here. I was trying to be all organized and everything. So now okay, so I'm moving all these around. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's it. Because I can't remember which ones that I... Oh, well, there we go. So we're going to turn her... I'm going to grab hold of here and turn her as well. So now we have these crowd shots, right? And so here, from here, you would just save this. So I'm going to save this. This is just a regular crowd shot. So file, and I would save as, and let me hit pause just in case. Okay, so I would save this as a PNG file. Now, if you want the white background, you can. I don't think it makes that much difference. So just save it as a PNG file, and I got generic crowd 16, and it saves it. So now what I want to do, okay, yes. I should have did save copy as, but I didn't do that. But that's okay. That's why you save that first version of this anyway, in case you make a bit of a mistake. And so what I also can do is go into the different camera shots, the little camera icon. So now I can do this, right? I can do this. Then I can move this around. Then now I can move these around and save each of these individual little crowd shots right here. Now keep in mind, I didn't put any poses there. So if I want to do a pose, so if I go to a pose and I just want to put this pose directly on this character, well, it just gave me a new character, so I'll just hit delete there. Or I don't have to hit delete. I can delete. Let's try this again. Because trying to place the pose on top of the figure, okay, there we go. So there, and I can click onto this character, and I'm trying to find I got some other poses that I downloaded. This is a jump dive pose. I don't think I want to do that. Let's do this right here. So I don't know. You can do whatever pose that you want to do. And then you go in and you can change the poses as you need them, right? And save these. Or if you're doing a bunch of running poses or something like that, then I think that it's if you do it this way and you take about an hour or two and just put on some music and put together some of the stuff that you want to see, that you need done. Like this one wasn't, this also came out not, it gave me another character. But as you can see, we got about 20 characters here, just in case you were wondering how many of these characters. Now I didn't bring in any props. Let's see here. So I'm going to zoom out here a bit. Now obviously you're going to have to, let's say we bring out this stool right here. It's going to come in pretty large, I think. Yeah. That's okay, though. There we go. That looks about right. So we got this stool here. But by the way, if you're at an angle in which you're looking at this and like, wait a minute, these characters are really dark. If you go back in here, and if you go back into the tool property object, you can turn these around. You can turn that lighting portion around until you get to something where it's a little bit more light, if that's what you're looking for. If you want it to look all secretive. One of the things that also helps me out a bit is going into the color and just kind of lighten that shadow color up a bit. Because if you're gonna draw over these, great, no problem. If you are just using this for reference, like I don't really want to draw over something, or you're just using these characters as markers to stand in, and you just put your own, you're not drawing, like tracing directly over it, which I don't care if you do, because if you got to meet a deadline and you got a client, then that's, go out and make that money. Because if you don't, the AI will. So yeah, this is how you set this kind of stuff up. So I'm going to save this generic file here. What I want to do is this. I don't know if I'm also kind of curious as if I could actually save a Clip Studio file. I don't think that that I can if you don't have that version. So that might just be a headache. So, but hey, here's what I want to do is I want you to do this because otherwise, hey, go ahead and pick up the pack. It's the link is right below. It's 100 pictures. It's for a few bucks. I find it really useful. My students found it very useful. They really enjoyed it. So, but in case you don't want that and you have your own ideas, go ahead and use this technique. So I'm gonna, in the meantime, I'm gonna save this because I'm gonna use this later on for something. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. Oh, I'm supposed to say the YouTube stuff. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.